Oh, there it goes. Oh, shit. What up, what up, what up? What up times 3? Peace to the triple G's. Today is another even day. So you know what that means. When it's the even day, and it's anywhere from 12 to 3 Eastern Standard Time, there's a 95% chance I'm going live. Oh, the camera's over here. I'm looking over there. And so here I am. It's unprompted, it's unscripted. It's spontaneous, it's random. It's fun, it's chill. You could join me on these whenever you like. We have good conversation, we build community. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. We talk about whatever I want to talk about. Time permitting. Oh, how we got one person with 2 thumbs up in here right now. That's what's up. That's a first. I knew this was going to be a good one. I knew it was going to be a good one. Because whenever it's just a slow day, and I'm like, man, I know what I'm going to do. But like, I'm just feeling a little stuck. I'm feeling a little stagnant. I'm feeling a little ebbish on the flow. Let me go live. And we here. We feeling joyful. I mean, I'm feeling joyful. I can only speak for myself. I'm feeling joyful. I'm feeling peaceful. I'm feeling nourished because I just ate some leftovers. That's why I'm not cooking today. That's why I'm on the couch. Normally we cook, as you already know. I had a great workout this morning, so I'm able to sit down without being in pain. I took a nice shower, shaved, and we here, tapping in. Shout out to all 6 people who in here right now who haven't said a thing. Oh, let me see if maybe my comments is off. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So the chat is on. I welcome you all, as always, regardless of what your intention is. It's just cool that you checked in. However you was feeling, you say, yo, let me go see what this light bright talking about today. And I don't really have an agenda. I could. There's actually, since nobody's saying nothing, and nobody's hitting the like button, I'm gonna start reading from this book that I've been reading called The Narcissist Discard. And y'all can interrupt me whenever y'all want. But I'm gonna read this one chapter. It's only 3 pages long. And when I was reading this chapter, I was like, yo, this was a great chapter. Here's the book, The Narcissist Discard. The chapter is called There's Nothing Wrong with You. What up, Anna? Thank you for being the first person to say anything. Cheers to you for being in here. I'm as good as I'm gonna get. All right, so here we go. You ready? All 5 of you? Shout out to 2 people who just popped in. Hit that thumbs up. Por favor. How do you say please in Japanese? Nah, that's thank you. Kodasai? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. What up, L-I-I? Or Lil? That's a real hood name. I know a bunch of people from the hood named Lil. Just Lil. Littles! Alright, so since nobody's saying that, I'm gonna just start reading. We're reading about the Narcissist Discard. I was actually listening to something, and I found out that It's actually not narcissist. We always say narcissist, but that's not the pronunciation. That's not the correct grammatical pronunciation. It's narc with a k. Narcissist. That's the correct way to pronounce it, just in case you ever catch yourself saying narcissist. That's wrong. All right. As it was mentioned before, a co-narc is an empty soul. With that, a narcissist must always tell you how they feel. Their feelings are what's important. And no matter what your feelings are, they are unimportant. So do not even try to express them. This is all part of their insecurity. You could sit for hours every morning listening to the co-narc talk and ramble on about this or that. You would pray for the phone to ring or someone to knock on the door. You had to provide your total attention to them when they spoke. And God forbid you interrupted them or interjected something or looked in another direction. It was met with, "You never let me talk." That is a narcissist injury that is met with narcissist rage. That's the first paragraph. And I'm going to also qualify that the guy who wrote this, Michael Parasico, I don't think he's like credentialed in any type of psychological way. But nonetheless, the book is hitting. It's giving accuracy, as the ladies like to say. The next day, they would start talking again and mostly say exactly what they did already, and you must just sit there and look interested in what they were saying. You sat there. You tried to be a good partner. You really hated these times. This would be supplemented by the times they came home and they had to tell you about their entire day. They would often get upset if you did not ask them how their day went. You often choose between them being mad at you or sitting for an hour and listening to their garbage. One point I wish to make here is that you can think about all the amount of energy and time you put into the relationship. No relationship, no healthy relationship should take so much energy and time. Yet you cannot hold the co-narc's attention for more than 5 seconds. Your ideas and your wants were not important. It did not matter. Anything that you may tell them that is important, such as retirement funds, people at your job, or banking or insurance, which was just not important. And they shut you out. You are unimportant. Only they matter. Shout out to all 8 people in the chat right now. We're reading the Narcissist Discard. It's a 3-page chapter. I read it a couple of days ago and I was like, this was a pretty good chapter, and it was really short. Then the title of the chapter is "There's Nothing Wrong with You." But one thing many have learned is not to ever criticize the co-narc or tell them of their faults. Narcissists do not take criticism well. Once you expose them or tap one of their insecurities, they will act in an irrational way. They are so insecure, so hollow, they will sometimes respond with rage. Many have seen that rage. Sometimes it was physical, sometimes it's suicidal. So be careful and tread lightly. They also need to have their flying monkeys by their side. I'm going to pause right there, because in the last chapter, Michael, good old Michael, talks about flying monkeys. And whew, it was such a dope idea, because you know what flying monkeys are, right? Flying monkeys are an analogy that Michael is using from the movie The Wizard of Oz and the Wicked Witch of the West, right? Or was it the Wicked Witch of the East? I don't know. I'm so messed up in my Wicked Witches these days. But the Wicked Witch kept flying monkeys around. You notice in the movie, she barely did her own bidding. She always sent the flying monkeys to go cause trouble. And when I thought of that and I use it and I put it in perspective to like my journey in life, I was like, wow, people really do be using these flying monkeys out here. What a great analogy. Has any one of you ever had flying monkeys sent after them? or maybe been attacked by flying monkeys, or maybe noticed just flying monkeys in general. These are people who don't really have their own agenda. They just are like members of a bandwagon, if you will. And they do the bidding of whoever the lead witch is. Thank you for saying that, Anna. I appreciate that. You guys are very quiet today, but it's cool. I don't require you to be in the chat. Thank you for noticing that I am consistent on here, as I should. Miss Rodriguez, what's up? All right, so you guys are resonating with the flying monkey thing. So I'll restart from that last sentence. They also need to have their flying monkeys by their side. A flying monkey is a person, whether it be a friend or family member, that they use to manipulate to make them see you are a horrible person. Wow, if I would have remembered that the definition for flying monkey was the very next sentence, I would have just read it. Just like when the code narc was manipulating you, they use gaslighting and all the other tactics to either drive a wedge between the flying monkey and you, or for the flying monkey to think badly about you. Sometimes, one of those flying monkeys will attack you because they were to believe the code narc's lies. They were led to hate you too. It is very similar to the Wicked Witch of the Wizard of Oz. Wow, I guess that the flying monkey was this chapter, not the last chapter. The witch did not go out herself and do the dirty work against Dorothy. Oh, sorry about that. I gotta turn my notifications off next time. I hope this person doesn't like start texting crazily. So yeah, the witch did not go out herself and do the dirty work against Dorothy. She sent the monkeys to attack. For the code narc, they will often do the same sinister plan. They often will be nice and sweet to the victim, or be acceptable when, behind the victim's back, they are slandering and blatantly outright lying, making up things about the victim. I had no idea I was that far left on the frame. Here we go. Let me get a good smile in for the, because whenever I upload these, I don't have like a smiling frame to have for the thumbnail, so. All right, let me see if I can turn my notifications down. Okay, they're not gonna let me. All right, no problem. Sorry about the notification sounds. Matter of fact, maybe if I can do this. Yeah, that might work. There we go. All right. Miss Colger, what up? You driving? You going to the next property? You gonna do a photo shoot for the crib? I'm still hype. I'm still hype for you since you told me that you closed that deal. I too used to be a real estate agent, so I know how happy it is, how gratifying it is when you finally close a deal. Kimmy asks, what are we reading? We are reading The Narcissist Discard by Michael Parasico. It's a book that my dad's significant other just handed to me. She was like, I think you would appreciate this book. And I was like, sure, I'll read it. Whatever. And I started reading it, and like, it's a book that you can get off of Amazon. Like, it's not like published by me. Oh, it is actually published by a publishing house. And I started seeing like spelling errors, and I was like, oh, this guy. This is like a handwritten book. But the more I forced myself to read, the more I was like, yo, this guy is on to something. And I'm reading this chapter pretty much in the middle of the book. There's nothing wrong with you. It's only 3 pages. So bear with me and we could talk about this. This is a conversational builder. This is what we're building our first collective conversation on. All right, back to it. All right, so they often will be nice and sweet to the victim or be acceptable when, behind the victim's back, they are slandering and blatantly outright lying, making up things about the victim. These will be friends, family members, or co-workers of the victim. Now think of this. The victim at home, when they are around the co-narc, is walking on eggshells, not being the person they are comfortable being. And when around these flying monkeys, the contact with these people will not be harmonious and will not be comfortable. So the victim is not living a happy, comfortable life. And it is all because of the co-narc. Many times, when around the co-narc and the flying monkeys, whether it be at a party or some sort of get-together, the co-narc will often wish to stir things up a bit. Remember, they know exactly which strings to pull to get under the victim's skin. They sense the perfect time, and they will strike at the most inopportune time to the victim. Unfortunately, the victim may react in an imperfect way. Often, they will either overreact or react on a less than perfect way. Again, this guy is not like a mind-blowing author, but it's just cool to learn about narcissists. I've never gone in depth about what exactly a narcissist is. And the more I do, the more I feel like we all should learn what a narcissist is. Okay. I often make the analogy, just like a football game, when the players start pushing and shoving after a play, it's not the player who throws the first punch who catches the penalty. It's the player who reacts with the second punch that the referees catch. And then the yellow flags come out and the second player gets the penalty. It is he who looks bad and out of control. At that point, the co-narc will sit back and act just like the player who threw the first punch, putting up their hands and saying, look at them, they're out of control, I'm just standing here. During most of the relationship, the narcissist is jealous of you. They hate when you succeed and love when you fail. They will not show it, but they will be smiling on the inside when things do not go your way. That is why they are covert, which is why they are so dangerous. You are not their partner. You are their possession. They own you. You are like a brand new car to them. You do a service for them, but they do not love you. All right, let me just check the comment real quick. For real, SS. Funny. Okay, there's a lot of chat going on now. I appreciate it. We found, because when we started, it was crickets. All right, I think I'm here though. Miss Colbert told me about how she's driving. I told Kimmy what we're listening to, what we're reading. Is that the same as entities working through what some would call NPCs? Hi there, by the way. Much peace and love. What up, Sienna Milan? Yeah, I guess you could call flying monkeys NPCs. I don't really like to dehumanize people the way NPC refers to. Like, I don't want to believe that they're really just like soulless people out here who are just filler and serve as props in all of our main character stories. I don't really like that narrative, but it does kind of make sense when you kind of look at it. Lil said, I hope that's what that says. It's a Lil. But it says it's also because the main person doesn't want to get their hands dirty, so they send others to do it so they don't get blamed for anything. All about ego and image for narcissists. That reminds me of the Power Rangers. You guys, are you guys old enough to watch the Power Rangers? Remember the Power Rangers? What was Shorty, the lady? Oh man, I'm so mad I don't remember her name. I used to know her name. But she was a lady who like lived on the moon with she looked like a witch and she talked like this. And she was like husbands with the red Skeletor looking guy with the, but anyway, I would always get upset at her because she never did it herself. She never did it herself. And I was like, yo, you could just wave your wand and turn somebody who's human size into the size of a monster, which makes the Power Rangers go get Megazord. You're that powerful, but yet you never show up yourself. You just send like the clay ninjas. And I was like, yo, just go down there and fight yourself. I never understood it. And at every episode, she was like, this is not the last of me. And I was like, yo, it probably, you haven't even shown yourself the first time. S has says you always come across as very woman intelligent. Appreciate that. Yes, I hope that you do enjoy your time here. Definitely hit the thumbs up. Maybe even subscribe. Subscribing isn't that important these days, all the gurus say, because even though people subscribe doesn't mean that they're going to actually watch your videos. So I'm not going to tell anybody to subscribe anymore, but it does help if you want to keep in tune with the community here. Kimmy says they need your energy to survive. I discovered I was raised by one, so I'm learning backwards. Yes, Kimmy, that's why I feel like I should tap on this book, touch on this book every once in a while, because something like 1 in every 3 people are actually narcissists, and the people who are not narcissists don't always recognize it. So we need to learn so we could keep ourselves from being hurt. Kimmy, I will definitely be your therapist. I won't even charge you out the ass like that. Give me, you know what I mean? I just need 150,000. Nah, but definitely hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I like to talk, so we don't even necessarily have to like talk about consideration, if you will. So wait, occasional transient says, wait, sorry, there's not a hard C in narcissist. It's derived from the Greek myth of Narcissus. See, that's where I get messed up, because I just heard somebody say the other day that we're supposed to pronounce the C with a hard K sound. So now I'm confused. But when I'm off the live and I have my phone back, or maybe after I'm done with this, we could go Google it, and we'll rock whatever Google says. So just bear with me. I know I'm going to pronounce it with the hard C until we really figure it out, until we cross reference. There are a good number of content creators on YouTube who discuss, based on their professional experience, knowledge, narcissism, and borderline personal disorder, BPD. Oh, I didn't know about borderline personal disorder. I don't know what that is. I got to look that up. I was a flying monkey once. Thought I was defending someone I cared about until truth hit the light. Turns out I didn't know the full story. Isn't that the way it normally goes, Anna or Anna? Happy Sunday blessings to everyone. Happy Feet, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Happy Feet, you always in the building, in the crib. All right. Yeah, I was saying narcissist, not narcissist. Not a hard C. All right, we're going to figure it out. I promise we're going to, as soon as I got this page right here and this page, and then we are going to figure out how to properly pronounce narcissist, because I'm a word buff. I love vocabulary. The last thing I want to do is be using a word continuously and mispronouncing that shit. Because when people do that to me and I hear it, I really feel like I got to correct them, or it rubs me the wrong way. Shout out to all 16 people in here, the 2 people who just jumped in. Please smash that thumbs up if you feel called to. All right, where was I? Oh, let me tell you. We're reading the Narcissist. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Don't worry. Discard by Michael Persico. Yeah. It's a book that was gifted to me. Okay. All right, where was I? The player who reacts, look at them, they're out of control. I'm just standing here. Okay, we got to that part. Okay, during most of the relationship, the narcissist is jealous of you. They hate when you succeed and love when you fail. They will not show it, but they will be smiling on the inside when things do not go your way. That is why they are covert, which is why they are so dangerous. You are not their partner, you are their possession. They own you. You are like a brand new car to them. You do a service for them, but they do not love you. When that car starts to get old or breaks down, they hate you. They have no emotional attachment to you. You are there for them. You are there for their purpose, and you are there to fill their void. Again, they are a void that cannot be made whole. So when they realize you simply cannot fill the void, or you change and stop trying to fill the void, they will start to devalue and triangulate you. I had to go, when I read this the first time, I had to go search what triangulate was because I did not know. And it's actually really straightforward. Triangulate means, if you don't know, when the narcissist, or in this case, just like one other person in a relationship, you and one other person, go finds a third person to like gang up on you. It's as simple as that. That's triangulation. Eventually, they will discard you. They never get that bond with you, a bond when two people fall in love for each other. They are incapable of it, and I will say it again, and this is the truth. There is no cure. They would purposefully, okay. They would purposely try to make you fail. Most of the time, they will do it behind the scenes quietly, again, covertly. Also, you cannot say anything to them as a criticism because that's a big no-no. It's countered with a quick, fast, and often vicious response. Let's say the co-narc knew the victim was a stickler for bills and credit cards and paying them off in time. The co-narc goes out and spends money out of control, buying things that they necessarily may not need, or overpaying for items they could easily have purchased cheaper. The co-narc knows it would bring the victim pain and discomfort because of the victim's need to keep the bills under control. So when the balances could not be paid off or credit problems occurred, it would bring a sick pleasure to the co-narc because even though it was not beneficial to both, it hurt the victim more. Remember, misery loves company. And should you confront the co-narc about the bills or overspending, it will be met with attacks and counterattacks. Remember, the co-narc cannot have boundaries, so after a while, the victim just gives up. That's what you're dealing with, a person not in touch with the reality. You cannot succeed. Good things cannot come your way, and the co-narc will make sure of that. You're the salmon swimming upstream, and the waterfall is lined with hungry grizzly bears. Also, should you get any rewards or acknowledgments, the co-narc will make it as though it was not a big deal. And they will show everyone you really did not deserve that achievement. On the other side, their accomplishments better be acknowledged with an enthusiastic congratulations. If not, then you will hear it. They will say, everyone at work thinks I'm a great worker and I do a great job. Everyone loves me, but I come home and I do not get any appreciation. Yes, you could compliment them repeatedly, daily, hourly, but it will never be enough. They will never hear it. It is like trying to fill that bucket with a large hole in the bottom with water. It's impossible. And that's the chapter. Let's talk about it, chat. What are we thinking? What are we thinking about narcissist or narcissist? We're going to get to the bottom of that in a minute. I'm about to pull out the laptop. Yes, a lot of us have personal experience with narcissists without even realizing. Sorry, S has said sorry is borderline personality disorder. That is an actual diagnosis I learned after dealing with one for years and not understanding our interactions. Yes. I have something to add to that, but not yet. I'll come back to it. Occasional transients. Yes, you and me are like twin flames when it comes to vocabulary. I can't stand when people just constantly mispronounce something and I have the ability to correct them. So I appreciate you opening that for us so we can go figure that out. A robust vocabulary is definitely a luxury indicator these days. Yes. There are people out here actually taking pride in the fact that they don't read books. And they will tell you, oh, I don't read books. Like, it's a good thing. Yes, I've 100%, even me, up until yesterday, always said narcissist. I never said narcissist. But we're going to figure it out once I get to the bottom of these comments. Yep, they basically feed on you. I feel like narcissism and the mind of the colonizer are one and the same. Have you heard of the YouTube page Mental Healness? That's a great name. The channel is created by a man who is clinically diagnosed with NPD. Oh wait, so somebody was talking about borderline personality disorder. I don't know what NPD. Those are two things that I don't. I guess the N stands for narcissism. I read constantly in this book that there's no cure for narcissism, which is freaking scary. All right, let's go get the laptop and see what's up with this word. The handy dandy. Yeah, because colonizers just exploit resources. They want what the others have. Okay, thanks for clearing that up, Kimmy. All right. Got Google pulled up. What do I ask the search engine? Proper pronunciation of narcissist. The word narcissist is pronounced narcissist. Okay, so there's no hard C. You've heard it directly from Google themselves. And, you know, not that I like to take everything they say verbatim like that. Yeah. I'm cross-referencing now. Whoa. Focus on the R sound, which is a rolled R. Nar. The C is pronounced as a K. Stress the first syllable. Nar. So what is it? See now Google's now see? They messing up because they not giving us. They told us in the beginning. It's narcissist. But down here at the bottom, they're saying the C is pronounced as a K, which flies in the face of the first thing that they said. So maybe it's one of those weird words that can be said both ways and still be correct. Let's see what YouTube says.
We are looking at how to pronounce this word as well as how to say more.
Okay, we're going with Oxford.
Words in English, so make sure to stay tuned and consider subscribing for more learning. How do you say it? Narcissistic. You do want to stress on the first syllable. Narcissistic. The American and British pronunciations are rather similar here as narcissistic. And now you know. Did you get this?
So when they said
let me know in the comments
the C in narcissistic, that's what you're pronouncing. That's the hard k at the end. It's narcissistic. Okay, not the first C. All right, but that pretty much covers what I wanted to get into since the beginning, was just that 3-page chapter opening the conversation about narcissism and ways you can spot it within your relationships. Hopefully you are not in a close relationship with one. That is my hope for you. And if you are, educate yourself. Because just because your significant other or partner or whoever, it may be your mom or your dad, brother, sister, cousin, anybody that you're close to, just because they are a narcissist doesn't mean that they are less of a person, I want to say, or deserve less respect or love. but it would help you. It'd be beneficial if you learn how to navigate the push and pull of you two's relationship. If that makes any sense. Shout out to all 13 people in here right now. I really appreciate you all. You could be anywhere in the world watching anything, the billions of things that are on TV, but you chose to be here, listening to Light Bright. And thank you for hitting that like button. Feel free to subscribe and or hit the notification bell. We've covered our first subject of the day, which is narcissism. If you guys don't mind, I'll go ahead and jump off into the next. Dianos in the house, what up? Olubayo, you finally been able to catch up. I'm not cooking any dead animals today, fam. So you can leave me alone, you heard? Yeah, Lil, I believe that too. I want to believe that we can all choose healing. To like let's say if someone discovers that they are in fact a narcissist or they have narcissist traits, I pray that there is a way for them to heal. Nicole LePera's book, How to Do the Work, is a great place to start. I think she also has a second book called How to Choose Healing or something like that. I haven't read it, but I'm sure it goes hand in hand. But yeah, I don't ever like to pigeonhole anybody or put anybody in a box. So if somebody really is out here being narcissistic, I don't want to believe that they can't actually heal themselves. Although in this book, Michael Parasico says that it's impossible. And I think Michael says that because what makes a narcissist is their inability to go within, their inability to hold themselves accountable, their inability to just hold themselves at fault for anything. It's never their fault. It's always the closest person next to them's fault, or their situation. It can never be them who's causing the chaos. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to talk about was if you guys want to put the lid on that container and move on to the next subject, we can keep talking about this. We can talk about this all day if y'all want. I am going to try to keep this live at an hour, so that means we have about 23 minutes left. All right, have a beautiful day at work, Tiffany. Don't let the narcissists and the flying monkeys get to you. You heard? That's powerful. S says, one tell she hasn't heard others mention is when you're talking to someone and they heavily pepper the conversation with, you know what I'm saying, which covertly gets you to nodding and agreeing. That's powerful, because I know a bunch of people who, I mean, being from New York, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's like a comma for us. And are New Yorkers inherently, innately narcissistic? Maybe a little bit, but I hear what you're saying, though. One tell for me that we haven't talked about when observing a narcissist is they'll always, unsolicited, switch the conversation to them. So if you're saying, yeah, man, like, you know, just an example, like, yo, I love trees. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I had the best experience with the best tree that ever was in existence. I mean, that's very oversimplifying, so that doesn't really work. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Even though that makes me a narcissist now, because I know what I'm asking you if you know what I'm saying. But they often just they can't not have the conversation centered on them. So we often see it in ways where, like, if you're venting to someone and you're telling them why you're not necessarily all good or okay, they'll, instead of hearing you out and like keeping the conversation on you, they'll say, yeah, this and that. You know what I mean? That's one surefire way to tell that someone's a narcissist, if they always have to center themselves in the conversation. Another good way to tell too is if people, maybe this isn't really a good way, but it's a way that I see it, where if someone's talking and they won't allow there to be a space in the words, like they're talking to you, right? Da 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 da, and they'll say something like to like fill in the space between the last thing they said and the next thing they're going to say, because they don't want you to interject, or they just want to control the conversation so much that they have to fill it with their own voice. And it's actually a double-edged sword for them, because I notice also that when people can't stop talking, especially about themselves, they're always going to tell themselves. They're always going to tell you the truth about themselves, or they're going to lie. Those are the only two things that are going to happen, because they just can't STF you. But I digress with that. Let me see what y'all talk about. Oh, where you was in here, Olubayo, when I was doing the watermelon? That's what's up. I appreciate that. I didn't even know you was in there. All right, back. I caught up with the comments. We definitely gonna do more vegan. What's the other one? Vegetarian friendly. Break fast with me though, cause I just feel like it's time for me. Like, I haven't had a fast off of meat in a minute. Like, almost since I came back to veganism. Like, I might have took a few days here, a few days there, but never like a good week. And I was vegan for 7 years, cold turkey. So if I could do 7 years cold turkey, I should be able to do a week, right? Like, I'm stronger than my desire to eat flesh. That's what I want to tell myself, at least. Lo says, but it is scary if they say there's no cure. My mom is a narcissist, and her long life she's chosen not to heal. She hasn't changed, and she doesn't want to. Yo, I was just learning about that a couple of days ago, where dude was saying when people reach a certain age, like it's around the mid-30s or mid-40s, there's very little chance of them ever changing, because they're just so caught up in their ways. Like, that is really not possible. Majestic Celestial, what up? What up, cuzzo? Love you, man. Karomi Queen says, you know what is truly great about these lives? That your children could come back and see your journey and what was going on in your mind during these times. I think about that all the time. The only thing that kind of makes me sad is they're not going to have time to go see what dad was really up to. But my plan is to live till I'm about 150. So if they ever have any questions, they can come right to me. I ain't going nowhere. But worst case scenario, if I do fade into black before 150, they'll definitely have all of this. Which I kind of wish I had that for my moms. Even my pops. Like, I wish he had a YouTube channel in his 30s so I could see what he was talking about. But definitely feel that. Because then what to do with people who choose to stay in that energy? Removing ourselves seems the best for our own safety and peace of mind. I agree, Lil. You definitely should remove yourself as best you can. Sometimes you can't. Like, who was just saying that their mom? Lil was just saying that her mom is a narcissist, and we don't want Lil and her mom to have a distance between them. We want to bring them as close as possible. But how do you really do that if somebody's, constantly bringing chaos into your life. Oh, that's dope, Mrs. Colger. I really appreciate that you are attempting to communicate better with your husband and listen to him. I mean, it's necessary. Communication is definitely necessary, even though one of the funniest stand-up bits I ever heard in my life was the other day. It was this Indian woman. She said, yo, you know where relationships go wrong? Is y'all be talking to each other too much. Communication is bullshit. She was like, don't say nothing. Nobody has anything going on in their mind that you need to know about. So don't ask nobody what's going on in their mind. It's funny. I might actually put it at the end of my next vlog because it's that funny. It was so funny. So funny. She was like, stop communicating with your partner. Y'all just making shit. Y'all making shit worse. And the crowd was cracking up because it flies in the face of what we always hear. We always hear that we should communicate, strive to be better communicators, let our inner feelings out. But as long as it can be received, here's my tool that I'll share with you all. One thing is making an appointment. A lot of times what happens is we get triggered in a moment, a split second. Something happens, somebody says, our significant other says something that triggers us, and then we say our piece, and then it becomes a back and forth because everybody's being defensive or trying to guard their heart from some type of a shame or whatever. And those conversations never really end up well. So when the next time you feel yourself in that position where you're triggered, say, yo, let's make an appointment for later because I got something I want to talk to you about. And most of the time that will disarm your partner, and they might be ready in that moment to hear whatever it is that you have to say. And that way you set up it's called a container. You set up a container to say whatever it is that you need to say. And they can offer you reassurance. They can offer you empathy. They can offer you open-ended questions. They can offer you like a role-playing type of a situation just so y'all can get to the bottom of what it is that triggered you. And y'all can work through it that way. And then also know that when the container is open and you both are expressing your feelings, even though there should be a principal person in the container. So like if the container is set, there should be one person who has an issue and they're expressing their issue, and it should be the responsibility of the collective, you both, to work out the answer to the problem. And then if the other person needs their own container because of the shit that was said in this container, you have to close this one first and then open a new one and dump the shit into this one. You know what I mean? I read that in this book. Damn, what was the name of the book? I posted it on my Instagram though. But it's about nonviolent communication, just a healing method practice for communication. I read it a bunch of times too, but it's a really good book. I've read the Four Agreements, Nico. That's what's up. That's a great book. I'm just going backwards now. It's not a conversation if they're the only one talking. That's what my guy said to me. Laura Reynolds brings up a great point that a conversation is supposed to be both ways. If it's not both ways, it's a monologue. And often when people monologue at length, they're not speaking about just one thing. They have a fucking plethora of things that they're talking about, which makes the person listening who you want to respond, they can't even respond because there's so many strings to pull at. I've been there 1,000 times. Lil says, I've noticed these types of disorders, they weaponize your love and care. That's a fact. That's a fact. They'll do it to you every time. Mrs. Colger, you're guilty? What are you guilty of? Not being able to change? Razia, what up? Is that Razia from New York? What up, what up, what up? I hear you about the vegan replacements, but at the same time, loving a good strip steak. I hear you. Kimmy says, let me tell you, I'm 33 and it has been so hard to not get set in my ways, period. Unlearning what I've been conditioning along with, oh, it says continue, but it doesn't let me really open up the comment. Let me see if I tap it here. No, it doesn't work either. But yeah, Kimmy, I think you're straight because you know that. It's really about being aware of you becoming set in your ways and you telling yourself, I don't have to be. That every single moment is an opportunity to choose the life or the person that we want to be. Olubayo says, I've been back at work, so I have to catch you when I get home. I'm a high school chemistry teacher out here in AZ, so you are 3 hours ahead of me. Oh, okay. A high school chemistry teacher? Fam. That's wild right there. Because I remember my high school chemistry teacher, what was her name? She was such a nice lady. And I barely passed that class. I struggled to, number one, because it was first period. So you, as a high schooler, you always tired first period. And she was talking about the most first period. But chemistry is dope. Like, I wish I could retake the class as an adult because I'm way more interested now than I was as a junior in high school. Kimmy says, working in the healthcare field with active triangulation is definitely like progressive overload for your brain. The healthcare field with active triangulation. I'm trying to figure out how those two things go together. So like if you work in the healthcare field, do you mean like the potential for healthcare providers to use a third party to gang up on the patient, or you mean like, yeah, what patient comes in there with like their cousin and is like, yo, we're gonna gang up on the doctor because I think the doctor be on some bullshit. Samantha in the building. What's up, girl? Karen Crespo. What's up? Yes, video diary is very important. Definitely happy I get to break this ground, be a first generationer for my girls, and whenever they want to look data up, they can. Hopefully YouTube never like goes away. That would be sad. Like imagine if YouTube went away one day like MySpace did. That would be crazy. All those videos, yo, the amount of material YouTube has on it, how do they even store it? I don't know. Kimmy says, I'm trying not to spam the comments, but y'all speak my language. I love that. Welcome to the community. Kimmy, this is what we do. I got about 6 minutes left before I want to close it out. So let's all try to get our final thoughts in. Opal. What up, Opal Firefly? I'm a rare one. I actually begin my deepest self-examination and dismantling condition after 40. I'm still open to evolving to my higher self. I am open to positive correction. I love that for you. I love that for you. I'm the same way. I've always been open to self-examination and figuring out how I could make more of an impact. Because I want to say how I could be better, but that's too rudimentary. Like, it's one thing to be better, and it's another thing to be better so you can make an impact. It's like, it's the same thing as saying like, yo, I want a lot of money, but it's more beneficial to draw in the money, the energy of the money, if you say, I want to do this with the money. So that's why I feel like, yeah, I try to stick with the, how can I change to make more of an impact instead of how can I change to be a better version of myself. Now that I think about that though, I could be an impact doesn't imply positivity. You could also have a negative impact too. So maybe I should always qualify that or make that statement better by saying, how can I be of a more positive, a more beneficial, a more enhancing impact to the world, to my family, to my community, to those who I engage with on the regular, to you? How can I be more of a beneficial impact to you in your life, in your journey? And there is the mission statement for this channel. Look at y'all being proud of each other in the comments. I hate that we have to learn from you while going through a hard time, but I think this is a good shit for you. Well, I mean, times won't always be hard. And I always do my best to educate, if that's the right word to use, but like, this is who I am as a person. Like, I don't even speak that much. I'm not a talkative person because I feel like I shouldn't say anything. Number one, unless it's timed correctly, or number two, it has meaning. I don't like empty speaking. I was actually thinking about making my next vlog, that the subject of my next vlog, talking so much, because I noticed that people around me talk a lot and they get very little done. And it'd be the same people who be mad at other people for not keeping it a buck, who be mad at people for not keeping their word. How you mad at other people for not keeping their word, but you talking so much that half the things you say you bringing into fruition? So like, I really be on monk mode. I feel like I go into monk mode a lot. Like, even if it makes people uncomfortable, like if you talking to me and what you just asked me or said to me was utter nonsense, I'm not even gonna acknowledge what you just said. Like, my silence is the answer to what you just said. Mrs. Colger says, I'm guilty of always trying to get a word in when my husband is talking. I hear that. I've been there. If I may make a suggestion to stop yourself from doing that, count very slowly to 5. It's something that I do when I hear people talk and they're saying a lot. It's something that I wish people would do for me when I'm saying a lot, because a lot of times I like to take really pregnant pauses because I'm often speaking. I'm trying to download what's happening in my brain and transfer it through my mouth. So, and that's another thing too that we always got to remember. If there's anything anybody learns from this live today, is what is meant, what is said, and what is heard are 3 very different things. Often what I mean, I can't even translate into what I'm saying. And it's a whole nother gambit for what I'm saying to be heard the way that I intended it to be. You know what I mean? Like, so. Olubayo, we are all narcissistic to a certain degree. It stems from childhood dependencies that we haven't outgrown. I said the same thing. Like, maybe like 2 or 3 lives ago, I was saying I had just started this book. And whenever I learn deeply into a subject, especially human psychology or behavior, I always turn the mirror on myself. So I'm asking myself now, a few days ago, maybe like last week, am I a narcissist? And if I am, in what ways? What event can I remember that I showed narcissistic behavior? And it popped right up for me. And this speaks to what you mean, we're all narcissists to a certain degree. I work out every day. Like, it's a mile walk from my house to the park where I go work out. And every day on the way there, I see mad litter on the grass, trash every fucking where. And I really like battle with this idea of, yo, I hate people who pollute, number one. I hate that pollution happens in my community, number two. Should I be the one to take responsibility and pick this shit up? And as much as I get goosebumps and God is like, yeah, you should do it. You should go get the fucking, that little pole that you got the trigger and it like scoops up little, it like clamps up garbage and you put it in and I can put it in the garbage bag. As much as I feel like I'm called to do that, and I will do it. I'm going to do it because like I said, I always get a really strong impulse to do it. The reason why I haven't done it yet is because I'm a fucking narcissist. When it comes to my community, I am so self-absorbed in myself and what's happening in my situation, my circumstance, my life right now. I feel like I have so much going on that when it comes to my fucking community and cleaning that shit up, you could call my community could look at me and be like, Matt's a fucking narcissist. So that's me agreeing to your point, Olubayo. Dion, what's up? It's the staff, unfortunately. The nursing field, while it's one of the most trusted careers in the country, they are known for eating their young, which means to actively abuse and sabotage them. I definitely feel that. Because if I'm, especially in the setting of a singular hospital, if I'm in a hospital room or like just a regular room or whatever, and a nurse comes in and tells me some shit, and I'm like, I want a second opinion. I can imagine she's like, oh yeah, you want a second opinion? And she goes gets her friend Nancy, Nurse Nancy, from the next wing over, and she's like, yo, here's this guy's chart. Go tell him the same shit so yeah, I hear that with triangulation, how it could definitely happen easily amongst healthcare professionals. It's crazy, man, because not many people can qualify to be a nurse and or a doctor. So we take the one idea a doctor could share with us as like the authority, or like that's all that it is right there. This person is the authority, so it's not even worth going to get a second opinion. But what I always remember in those types of situations too is like with any type of profession, with any type of activity that humans participate in it, there are going to be people who do it fairly well. There are going to be people who suck at it, and there are going to be people who are really, really good at it. It's a bell curve. So that's what I always try to remember. It's like, yo, I could just have really sucky healthcare providers who don't know what they're talking about. So let me go find somebody who may be better. You said that, Nico. Self-awareness is a key. Self-awareness is key, and being open to the idea that everyone has something to offer and that you can learn from. That's called humility in my book. Microaggressions. Kemi said, one of my coworkers displays narcissism. I don't ask for attention, but I have a cheerleader kind of personality on the floor. Her and her clique basically does a bunch of microaggressions. Yeah, what an environment. But at least you're aware of it, so you can try to balance it out as best you can. So taking turns, who's this, Kimmy? Kimmy says, so taking turns trying to make me invisible, try to undermine me while literally trying to breathe. Before you ask, yes, colonizer. Mrs. Colger says she's taking notes. Oh shit, we already crossed over the hour. All right, let me tie up these these chats, we're going to get into the final remarks, and then we'll end it out with a quick impromptu prayer, as I like to do. Happy Feet said, I would gather the neighborhood kids and give them some gloves and garbage bags, and we would walk the blocks picking up trash. Afterwards, I would order pizza for all the kids. That exact idea is one that came across my mind. And of course, I could give you why there's problems with that idea, but it's unnecessary. The first thing that needs to happen first and foremost is I need to go set the example. I need to be out there setting the example, let someone else see that and say, oh, how cool is that person is taking out their time, their energy to clean up the neighborhood, and let them approach me and say, yo, how can I get involved? Because I don't really know too many little kids out here, to be honest with you. I don't know any little kids out here, actually. Not one. And it's because they all be inside playing video games and shit like that. I never see kids like just riding up and down with their bikes, like chasing each other, laughing, going to the bodega up the block with like, you know, for chips and quarter waters and shit. I don't see that anymore. Firefly says, true, 3 different things. Oh, okay, so you're talking about what's meant, what's said, and what's heard. I saw some video about listening to the person speaking. After they finish, repeat back to them what you heard to confirm both heard the same if both are communicating. That's a great way right there. It's so good to repeat back what people just said to you. Like, so let me get this straight. Let me make sure I heard you correctly, and you basically paraphrase what they just said. And whenever you do that, try to use the exact words that they use. Because whenever people have done that for me, they don't use the same words, and it makes the meaning. I'm like, no, you got that completely wrong. Oh, you meant the dynamic between newer and younger nurses. Sorry, I didn't clarify. Nah, I get you. Yeah, and as a newer nurse, when you come into the establishment, you know, you don't wanna like, you can't pull rank because you new. So you wanna listen to your mentors, but if they really setting the stage for like this group think kind of dynamic that all nurses have, then that's no good. Peace, God. What up, Carissa? I'm alright. I hope you're doing well yourself. The morale where I work could literally be filmed for a Zeus Network. I don't know what Zeus Network is, but I hear you. Lil says facts, and we all can have a different perception lens taking in information, which directly influences how we are processing and filtering the information, what stories we then may create. Bang. Appreciate you, Lil. I don't remember you coming in the chat before, but you've been on point today. What up, Green Eyes? Yeah, I'm about to close it out. Oh, damn. I'm seeing that these comments were written 15 minutes ago. All right, I think this is the bottom. Take my families on a walk and we fill our wagon with trash from the side of the main road. I love that, Samantha. I love that. I could imagine if Chicago is anything like I hear about, there's definitely enough trash for everybody to be picking up. Kimmy said, baby, all they do on Zeus is fight. I believe it. I often talk about on this channel all the time how conflict and controversy is all people are really interested these days. It's a effing shame. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We at 109. Thank you for all 22 of you who are in here right now. Please hit that smash. I said, please hit that smash. Hit that thumbs up. Maybe hit the bell so you know when all of this stuff happens. I go live every 2 days, so every even day from 12 to 3, I try to hop on here. My guy Olubayo is in Arizona. I know a lot of people on the West Coast, so I'll try to make it closer to 3. The only reason I don't really go after 3 is because right when I finish this, I gotta work on my book, because y'all know I got that book coming out, right? And I'm trying to get that out before my birthday, which is exactly in 1 month. In 1 month, I'll be 4-0. 4 decades I've been on this prison planet. You hear me? It's been crazy. It's been crazy that what these humans have done to me. What my human being has done to others as well. Because I'm not a narcissist. So I acknowledge that I have affected and impacted people in positive and negative ways. Love you all. Let's do this final prayer. The final prayer is I affirm, I pray, I wish that you have nothing but peace, nothing but progress, prosperity. What's another good word that starts with P? Persuasiveness. I hope that you have persuasion, positive persuasion amongst all of those who you come across today, tomorrow, this week, this month, in your lifetime. I wish you health. I wish you wealth. I wish you understanding. I wish you infinite abundance, humility, gratitude. And that is my prayer. Amen. Till next time, everybody. Peace.